I killed my brother's dreams with a single phone call, right there in the church parking lot, as the organ swelled inside and his bride-to-be waited at the altar. It wasn't murder. Not in the legal sense, just the surgical dismantling of the empire he'd built on my back. Brick by bloody brick of secrets I'd buried for him since we were kids scraping by in that Rust Belt trailer park outside Detroit. And as the first screams echoed from the sanctuary, I realized the real hook in my gut wasn't revenge. It was the sick thrill of finally exhaling after holding my breath for 15 years. The rain-slicked streets of downtown Chicago gleamed under the sodium lamps like a bad omen, the kind that sticks to your boots and follows you home. I'd driven straight through from Milwaukee after getting the text, 3 words that hit like a sucker punch. Invite canceled.
Sorry.
No explanation. No bullshit about traffic or cold feet. Just my brother's wedding planner. That slick operator named Victor Hale, dropping the guillotine on the one olive branch I'd extended in a decade. Fiona Whitaker, uninvited to her own brother's nuptials. Classy. I pulled into the valet loop of the Palmer House Hilton, the grand old dame of a hotel where Marcus had decided to seal his fate with some social climbing heiress named Elena Vasquez. The lobby was a whirlwind of taffeta and cologne, bridesmaids herding like panicked sheep, groomsmen loosening ties and cracking open flasks under the crystal chandeliers. I smoothed my black sheath dress, the one I'd bought on a whim last spring, figuring maybe this time he'd remember I existed, and handed my keys to the kid who looked too young to shave. Keep it close, I muttered. Might need to make a quick exit. Victor spotted me first. Of course. He had that hawk-eyed thing, always scanning for threats or opportunities, depending on the light. He was mid-40s, built like a retired linebacker gone soft around the edges, with a smile that could sell ice to Eskimos and eyes that promised he'd bury the body if you crossed him. Fiona, he said, weaving through the crowd with a champagne flute in one hand and a clipboard in the other. This is unexpected. Unexpected. I laughed, low and sharp, the kind of sound that turns heads in a room like this. You mean after you texted me like I was some rando crashing the afterparty?
Yeah. Vic.
Call it a family reunion. He glanced at his phone, feigning surprise. Must be a mix-up. Marcus updated the list last week. Tight security. You know how it is with Elena's crowd. High profile. Bullshit. Elena's crowd was old money from the Gold Coast, the kind that summered in the Hamptons and wintered in Aspen. But Marcus? He was still the kid who'd pawned my high school ring to buy weed. Victor leaned in, voice dropping to that conspiratorial whisper. Look, he's in the green room upstairs. Go make nice. Event starts in 20. I didn't budge. Why'd you cancel it? Vic? Marcus's orders. Or yours? His smile flickered. Just for a beat. Client's call.
Now.
If you'll excuse. I grabbed his elbow, nails digging in through the wool of his sleeve. Not hard enough to bruise, but enough to remind him I wasn't one of the interns he bullied. Tell Marcus his sister's here. And tell him if he wants to play ghost. I'll haunt the whole damn ceremony. Victor's eyes narrowed, appraising me like a horse at auction. Then he nodded to a security guy lurking by the elevators, big dude, ex-cop vibe, and slipped away into the throng. I watched him go, heart pounding a rhythm that had nothing to do with nerves. This wasn't about the wedding. This was the opening act. Marcus and I grew up in the shadow of the auto plants, back when Detroit still pretended it was the Motor City and not a ghost town of foreclosures and fentanyl. Mom worked doubles at the diner. Dad was a ghost who sent postcards from Reno. And we were the punchline to every bad joke about white trash ambition. Marcus was the golden boy, charismatic, quick with a grin. The one teachers called college material.
Me?
I was the fixer. The one who forged the notes when he skipped school, who covered for the shoplifted six-pack at the corner store. By 16, I was juggling AP classes and a part-time gig at the library, dreaming of scholarships to anywhere but here. Then came the fire. August '09. Heat waves sticking to your skin like guilt. Marcus had been tinkering in the shed out back, Dad's old tools. A half-built go-kart, dreams of racing glory. One spark from a faulty wire. Or so the arson investigator said later. The shed went up like tinder, flames licking the trailer's siding before the sprinklers kicked in. No one hurt, thank God. But the insurance payout? That was the hook. Marcus swore it was an accident, begged me to back his story. Fiona, you're smart. They'll believe you.
So I did.
I told the adjuster it was my cigarette, stupid teen mistake. First drag ever. Perjury at 17. All to keep his record clean for that wrestling scholarship. He got into Michigan State on a full ride, partied his way to a business degree, and landed in Chicago slinging real estate for a firm that catered to the 1%ers. Community college, then night school at UWM for a nursing cert, because who has time for dreams when you're paying off arson fines that weren't yours? 15 years of holidays where he'd show up late with excuses and leave early with Mom's Jell-O salad. 15 years of watching him climb, knowing every rung was bought with my silence. And now this. Elena Vasquez, Tech's scion daughter. The kind of girl who summered in Ibiza and volunteered at soup kitchens for the gram. Marcus had proposed on a yacht in Lake Michigan, the whole city skyline glittering like a promise he couldn't keep. I'd gotten the save the date 6 months back. Even RSVP'd with a gift registry link for some artisanal knife set. Then radio silence. Until Victor's text. The elevator dinged. And there he was, Marcus, striding out in a tux that cost more than my yearly rent, hair gelled to perfection, that boyish grin masking the shark underneath.
Fee.
He enveloped me in a hug that smelled like Creed cologne and desperation. What the hell? Vic said you were en route. But I figured. You figured I'd take the hint? I pulled back, searching his face. 32, going on 40. Crow's feet from too many late-night deals. Nice try.
Bro.
But family sticks. Right? His laugh was forced, eyes darting to the security guy trailing him. Of course. Come on. Green room. Elena's dying to meet you. Liar. Elena didn't know I existed beyond the troubled sister footnote in his backstory. The green room was a cocoon of luxury, plush sectional. Minibars stocked with top shelf. Mirrors ringed in bulbs that made everyone look like a star. Elena was there, ethereal in ivory lace, scrolling her phone with manicured nails. She looked up, smile polite but cool, like she'd just bitten into a lemon. Fiona?
Oh. Wow.
Marcus talks about you all the time. All good things. I hope. I extended a hand, feeling the chill in her grip. Up close. She was sharper than the photos, cheekbones like switchblades, eyes that sized you up for weaknesses. Victor hovered by the door, clipboard at the ready. 5 minutes. Folks. Guests are seating. He shot me a look, behave, before vanishing. Marcus poured scotch.
Neat.
And handed me a glass. To new beginnings. We clinked, the amber liquid burning a path to my resolve. So, what's the drama? Vic said your invite glitched. I sipped. letting the silence stretch. Glitched.
Cute. Try erased.
Like you tried to erase the fire. Or the scholarship essay where you thanked my supportive family without naming names. Or that DUI in East Lansing you pinned on your roommate. Elena's head snapped up. Phone forgotten. Marcus froze. Glass midway to his lips.
Fee. What the now?
Today. Perfect day for truths. Don't you think? I set my glass down. Voice steady as the lake in summer calm. Elena's family did their background check. Right? Clean as a whistle for the golden boy. But me? I'm the loose end. The sister who knows too much. He stepped closer. Voice a hiss. You think this is about that? Ancient history. I've built something here. Built it on sand. Marcus. My sand. The words hung, heavy as the rain outside. Elena shifted, uncomfortable, but her eyes gleamed with that predatory curiosity. The rich always love a scandal, as long as it's not theirs. Victor burst back in, earpiece crackling. Marcus. We're at capacity. Priest's ready. He glanced at me, then at Marcus. A silent handle this. Marcus straightened, mask slipping back on. Stay for the ceremony.
Fee.
We'll talk after. Promise. I nodded. But inside, the gears turned. Promise. The word that started it all. Back in that trailer with sirens wailing. This wedding wasn't the end. It was my Trojan horse. The sanctuary was a blur of stained glass and hushed whispers. The organ's dirge pulling us down the aisle like sinners to judgment. I slipped into a back pew, anonymous in the sea of pearls and bow ties. Elena glided in on her father's arm. Marcus waiting at the altar like a king surveying his domain. Vows exchanged. Rings slipped on, eternal. Unbreakable. Bullshit. As the recessional swelled, I slipped out, heart hammering. The valet had my car purring at the curb. I dialed the number I'd saved under Ghost, the PI I'd hired 6 months back, when the save the date arrived like a taunt. It's time, I said. Leak the files. All of them. The drive back to Milwaukee was a haze of wipers slapping rain. The city's lights smearing into accusations. By the time I hit the I-94, the first text blew up my phone. What the hell? Fiona? From Marcus. Call me now from Victor. And from an unknown number, Elena's. Probably, is it true? The fire? The cover-up? I didn't reply. Not yet. Revenge isn't a sprint. It's a slow bleed. Back in my apartment off Brady Street, third-floor walk-up with a view of the lake that never quit raging, I poured a glass of the cheap Merlot and fired up my laptop. The PI's dossier was a masterpiece of digital dirt, emails from Marcus's college days. Bribing that roommate to take the DUI fall, bank records siphoning consulting fees from Elena's trust into offshore accounts, and the crown jewel, the arson report I'd anonymously tipped off to the Chicago Tribune last week. It hadn't run yet. But with the wedding photos hitting socials, the timing was poetic. A knock rattled the door at midnight. I peered through the peephole. Victor, soaked to the bone, looking like a drowned rat in his rumpled tux. Open up. Fiona. We need to talk. I let him in, watching water pool on the linoleum. Trouble in paradise already? He shrugged off his jacket, eyes wild. You torpedoed the whole thing. Elena's family pulled the plug, called off the merger disguised as a marriage. Marcus is losing everything. Good. The word tasted like ash. But I owned it. Victor's laugh was bitter. You're his sister. Blood. Blood's thinner than lies. Vic. I poured him a drink, more to steady my hands than his. You knew, didn't you, about the fire? That's why you canceled the invite. Keep the family skeletons buried. He downed the scotch in one gulp, slamming the glass down. Marcus hired me for more than planning parties. Damage control. He said you were unstable. After the nursing gig went south. Unstable. Code for the burnout I'd had 2 years back. When a patient coded on my shift, overdose. Not my fault. But the lawsuit lingered like smoke. Marcus had helped wiring money for lawyers. Now I wondered whose pockets it really lined. Tell me something I don't know, I said, leaning against the counter. Or get out. He hesitated, then pulled a flash drive from his pocket. Insurance. Marcus's. Not just the fire, the big one. Last year, that warehouse blaze in Pilsen. He torched it for the payout. Hired me to handle the crew. My stomach dropped. Pilsen immigrant neighborhood. Families crammed into walk-ups. Dreams packed in shipping crates. The news had called it a tragedy. 2 dead. A dozen injured. $10 million in damages. Marcus? Arson again? You covered for him? Client confidentiality. But his eyes said otherwise, guilt. Or greed. He framed the foreman. Poor bastards doing 20 in Stateville. I snatched the drive, slotting it into my laptop. Files bloomed. Blueprints marked with accelerants. Wire transfers to ghost accounts. Victor's signature on falsified alibis. Why give me this? Sell out to sister? Victor sagged onto the couch, head in hands. Because he's turning on me now. Blaming the leak on me. Elena's dad has pull. Feds are circling. You're the only one who gets it. Blood or not. I stared at the screen, the pieces slotting like a noose tightening. Marcus, the boy I'd saved, now a monster devouring his own. Victor, the fixer turned fall guy. And me, the ghost in the machine, finally armed. Stay here, I said. We plan. Tomorrow, we burn it all down. Dawn broke gray over the lake. And with it, the first cracks in Marcus's facade. My phone buzzed nonstop. Voicemails from reporters. Texts from old mutuals asking if the Trib story was legit. Sister Out's arson passed in wedding crash. Screamed the headline. Photo of Marcus mid-vow. Blissfully ignorant. Victor paced my kitchenette, nursing coffee laced with regret. We hit him where it hurts, the money. Elena's family froze the accounts. He's got 48 hours to liquidate before the banks lock him out. I nodded, scrolling escrow docs from the drive. And the warehouse? We tipped the DA anonymously. No traces. It's not that simple. Victor stopped, face ashen. The crew? Undocumented. They'll deport before they testify. Collateral. The words soured on my tongue, but survival's a bitch. Marcus chose this path. We just light the match. By noon, we were in a coffee shop off Michigan Avenue, laptops humming like conspirators. I routed the files through proxies. Victor's tech guy owed him a favor, and scheduled drops to every major outlet from here to DC. Marcus called twice. I let it ring. Each vibration a vindication. Then Elena texted, "Coffee? Neutral ground." The Drake. I went alone, Victor tailing at a distance. The Drake's lobby was old-world opulence, marble floors. Chandeliers dripping light like honeyed lies. Elena waited in a corner booth. No makeup. Hair in a messy bun that screamed, "I've been crying." "Fiona," she said, voice raw.
Sit.
"Please." I slid in, ordering black coffee to match my mood. If this is about damage control, it's about truth. She pushed a folder across the table. Photos. Grainy surveillance stills of Marcus meeting rough types in back alleys. Time-stamped post-proposal. I knew he had edges. But this? The warehouse? God. The families. You knew. My voice cracked. Betrayal layering fresh. Not all. My father pushed the check. Vet him, he said. Found crumbs. I confronted Marcus last month. He swore it was business. Rivals torching his deal. Her eyes met mine. Steel beneath the vulnerability. I called off the wedding because of you. Your tip to my investigator.
But now.
I want in. In on what? Revenge. Justice. She leaned forward. The heiress mass cracking. Marcus played us both. You for family, me for fortune. We end him together. I searched her face, weighing the offer. Ally or viper? In this game, lines blurred fast. What's the angle? Testify. My family's got lawyers who eat DAs for breakfast. We flip the narrative. Whistleblower bride. Loyal sister. Marcus rots. We walk.
Tempting.
Too tempting. But Victor's warning echoed. She flips like a coin. Still, the enemy of my enemy. Deal, I said. But we move fast. He's cornered, animals bite. We shook on it. Her grip firm, promising war. That night, back at the apartment, Victor waited with takeout and a bottle of bourbon. Elena's playing you, he said flatly, divvying lo mein. Saw her text Marcus an hour ago. All good. Meet at the club. She's hedging. My fork paused midair. Why tell me? Because I'm done being the patsy. He poured. Amber splashing like blood. Marcus recruited me 5 years back, after the Pilsen job. Said you were the weak link. Always digging. I canceled the invite to flush you out. See if you'd bite. The room tilted. You set this up? The text. The drive. Bait. Victor's grin was wolfish. But you swallowed whole.
Now.
We use you to flip it back on him. Or her. Whichever pays more. I stood. Chair scraping like a scream. Get out. He didn't move. Think. Fiona. You're in too deep. One call for me. And you're accessory to extortion. The bourbon bottle caught the light. Heavy as a promise. For a heartbeat. I imagine swinging it crack. Shatter. The end of enablers. But revenge is precision. Not passion. Fine, I whispered. Partners. But cross me. And you're next. Dawn 2. Alliances fracturing like cheap glass. Marcus's empire crumbled in real time. Stocks tanking. Clients failing. The DA's office issuing warrants by breakfast. Elena called at 8 a.m. Voice honeyed panic. Fiona. It's unraveling. Meet at the loft, bring the drive. Victor smirked from the couch. Trap. Or opportunity. I grabbed my keys. Adrenaline singing. Watch my back. The loft was in River North. Exposed brick and skyline views, mocking the chaos below. Elena waited alone, or so it seemed, pacing in yoga pants and a cashmere sweater. Vulnerability dialed to 11. The files, she said. No preamble. Upload them here. My texts will anonymize. Push to the cloud. Untraceable. I hesitated. Drive burning in my pocket. Why not your lawyers? Because Marcus is here. She nodded to the bedroom door.
Ajar.
In there.
Armed.
He thinks I'm playing double agent to lure you. My pulse spiked. And I am. Her smile was a blade. But for us, not him. Give me the drive. We end this. Footsteps echoed, heavy, deliberate. Marcus emerged, Glock in hand, face a mask of fury and fear. Drop it.
Fee.
Victor sold you out, told me everything. Victor. The rat. I spun, but the door was locked, deadbolt thrown from outside. You son of a... Family first, Marcus growled. Advancing. Always was. You think I don't know what you did? Tipping Elena's PI? Leaking to the press? I built this for us, for Mom's treatments. Your loans. And you burn it. Elena stepped between us. Hands up. Marcus.
Stop.
We can fix. He backhanded her. Casual as swatting a fly. She crumpled. Lips split. Blood welling like accusation. Shut up. You gold-digging. Rage ignited. Pure and white-hot. I lunged. Drive forgotten. Nails raking his cheek. He swung wild. Glock clattering. And we tumbled, fists, curses. The raw animal of siblings at war. Elena scrambled for the gun. Firing a warning shot into the ceiling. Plaster rained. Alarms wailed. Sirens converged. A symphony of downfall. Marcus froze. Bloodied and broken.
Fee.
Why? Because you made me. I spat, cuffing him with the zip ties from my purse. Victor's gift. Ironic now. Elena nodded. Gun steady. Cops are mine. Clean sweep. Victor burst and then, key in hand, feigning shock. Heard the shot. Save it. I tossed him the drive. Your cut's in the cloud. But touch me again. And you're the leak. As blue lights flashed below, Marcus sagged against the wall. Empire in ruins. Victory? Or just the intermission? The aftermath hit like a Michigan winter, brutal, unrelenting, burying you under drifts of regret you can't shovel fast enough. Marcus in cuffs paraded past the paparazzi swarm outside the loft. His mugshot destined for true crime podcasts by sundown. Elena played the damsel. Tear-streaked presser at the precinct. I had no idea. The betrayal cuts deep. Cut her a check from Daddy's slush fund. And she'd be villa-hopping in Tuscany by spring. Victor? Slipped the noose with a greased lawyer. Probably golfing in Scottsdale on Marcus's pilfer dime.
Me?
I drove back to Milwaukee in silence. Radio off. The lake a flat gray mirror reflecting the void inside. Mom called from the hospice in Ann Arbor. Voice frail as tissue paper. Saw it on the news. Baby. Your brother. What happened? Justice. Mom.
Lie.
Easy as breathing. The fire doc sat heavy in my glove box. The ones proving I'd perjured for him. If she knew, it'd kill her faster than the cancer. The apartment reeked of stale takeout and bourbon ghosts when I walked in. I showered off the loft, blood flecks in the grout of my nails. Elena's perfume clinging like accusation, and crashed on the couch. Sleep a mercy I didn't deserve. Woke to a pounding skull and a text from an unknown. We need to talk.
Coffee.
10 a.m. The Fister.
V.
Victor, bold as brass. I almost ghosted, but curiosity's a drug. The Pfister's lobby was velvet ropes and history, the kind of place where robber barons brokered empires over brandy. He waited in a wingback by the fireplace, nursing espresso, looking every bit the survivor. Sit, he said. No preamble. Black. 2 sugars, right? I perched on the edge, arms crossed. Cut the charm.
What now?
Marcus's trial? Your testimony. He slid an envelope across the table. Manila. Sealed. Weighty. Severance. From Elena's people. $50K. Wired today. For services rendered. I didn't touch it. And the catch. No catch.
Lie.
Obvious as his aftershave. Just. Perspective. Marcus was a mark.
But you?
You're the real player. That fire stunt? Ballsy. Inspired the warehouse play. Inspired. I barked a laugh. You mean copied. And got people killed. Victor's shrug was philosophy. Ambition's a blade, cuts both ways. Marcus flipped on me after Pilsen. I flipped on him. You flipped the script. Circle complete. I snatched the envelope. Peeking inside, cash. Banded. Plus a USB. What's this? New game. He leaned in, voice low. Elena's not done. She's spinning the narrative. Abused fiancé escapes arsonist groom. But there's dirt on her.
2.
Daddy's firm? Embezzled millions from pension funds. Marcus found out. Blackmailed her into the wedding. Leverage for a merger that'd clean his slate. My mind reeled. Elena. The victim? Or puppeteer? Why tell me? Because you're the wild card. Join up, we bleed her dry. Or walk. And she comes for you next. Loose ends. Fiona. The USB burned in my palm, screenshots of emails, wire fraud trails. Elena's signature on shady NDAs. Collateral on the Vasquez empire. Temptation whispered, take it. Balance the scales. I pocketed it. 48 hours. I'll think. He nodded. Satisfied. Smart girl. Back home. The USB unfolded like a house of cards. Elena's father. Raul Vasquez. Architect of a Ponzi scheme disguised as innovative investments, ruining retirees from Boca to Buffalo. Marcus had hacked the ledgers, amateur hour. But effective, demanding a 20% stake in the tech firm for silence. The wedding? Cover for the handover. Elena knew. And now?
So did I.
Mom's call came at dusk. Her voice a rasp. Fiona?
The doctors.
It's time. Come say goodbye. The drive to Ann Arbor was a blur of semis and strip malls. The envelope on the passenger seat like a devil's bargain. Hospice smelled of antiseptic and wilted flowers. Mom's room a dim cave of monitors beeping surrender. She looked small, swallowed by the bed. Eyes cloudy but sharp.
Fee.
She patted the blanket. Heard about Marcus. Fool boy. I took her hand. Bones like twigs. It's over.
Mom.
He's paying. She squeezed. Weak but fierce. You too, baby. That fire. I knew. Saw the fear in your eyes. My throat closed.
You.
Never said. Couldn't. A tear tracked down her cheek. Loved you both too much. But promise me, no more ghosts.
Live.
Fiona. For you. I nodded. choking on vows I couldn't keep. She slipped away at midnight, monitors flatlining to silence. The nurse found me there at dawn, curled like a child, envelope clutched to my chest. Funeral was small, cousins from the old neighborhood. A priest who droned about redemption. Marcus's lawyer showed. All slick suit and condolences, whispering about bail hearings. I ignored him, scattering ashes over Lake Huron, the wind whipping them east like accusations. Back in Milwaukee, the city pulsed with anonymous malice, graffiti on my building reading arson bitch. Calls from blocked numbers breathing threats. Elena's work. No doubt. Victor texted. TikTok. Decision? I met him at a dive off Water Street. Neon buzzing open like a dare. Pool hall and back. Smoke thick as regrets. He racked him up. Cue chalked white. Break. I sank the 8 on the first shot. Fluke. Or fate. I'm in. But my rules. We hit Raul first, freeze the assets. Force Elena to fold. Victor grinned. Lining up solids. Ruthless. Love it. Plan simple. I leaked to the SEC. You play the insider. Nurse who overheard at a gala. Plausible deniability. We played 3 games. I won 2. By last call. The blueprint was set. Docs to regulators by week's end. Elena cornered in her ivory tower. But sleep brought dreams. Mom's hand cold. Marcus's cheek under my nails. Elena's split lip weeping. Justice. Or just the wheel turning. The hit landed Monday. Wall Street Journal splash. Tech titans father faces fraud probe amid family scandal. Raul's stock cratered. Elena's face on every morning show, poised. Pleading ignorance. A shock. We're cooperating fully. She called that afternoon. Voice ice. Fiona Whitaker.
Cute.
Think you're clever? Learn from the best. I sipped coffee. Feet up on my desk, new job at the R. Fresh start. Your move. Already made. Click, line dead. Minutes later. My phone lit up. HR email. Termination effective immediately. Misconduct allegation. Misconduct? The old lawsuit. Dusted off. Elena's lawyers. Pulling strings. I stormed the hospital, badge in hand, only to find my locker cleared. Security escorting me out like a thief. Victor met me at the bar. Sympathy shot waiting. Pivoted. She's coming hard. Sued Marcus for breach. Froze his assets. Claims emotional distress. And me. Collateral. Defamation suit incoming. 50 against 1. She wins. Rage boiled. Hot and clarifying. Then we escalate. That night, I drove to Chicago. Envelopes cash funding a burner laptop and a room at a no-tell on the south side. Hacked Elena's socials, easy. Password I love you Marcus, and scheduled posts, Raul's ledgers. Time-stamped confessions. Her emails begging Marcus to make it go away. By morning, Twitter was ablaze, Vasquez fraud trending. Elena's brand torched. Victor called. Laughing. Genius. She's scrambling. Press conference at noon. I watched from a diner. Eggs congealing. Elena at the podium. Voice cracking. These are forgeries. A desperate ex's revenge. But the comments scrolled out. Receipts don't lie. Burn her. Marcus texted from lockup. Help me.
Fee.
She's the monster. I deleted it. Monsters. Plural. The counterstrike came fast. Cops at my door. Warrant for cyber harassment. Elena's pull. Again. Victor bailed me out. Face grim. We go nuclear. The crew from Pilsen, I know a guy.
Testify.
They walk. Risky. Deportation fears. Language barriers. But 2 dead. Family shattered. Do it. We met in a church basement. Fluorescent hum and folding chairs. 5 men. Faces etched with loss. Eyes hungry for payback. Translator on speaker. Senora Fiona. You promise?
Justice, I said.
For your brothers. They nodded. Stories spilling, Marcus's orders. Victor's payoffs. Flames that stole fathers and futures. Taped.
Time-stamped.
Sent to the DA by courier. Climax brewed that week. A storm front rolling in off the lake. Elena's conference devolved, protesters outside. Chanting thief. Liar. Signs dripping rain like tears. Inside. Raoul flanked her. Silver fox gone to seed. Denying everything. I watched from the crowd. Hood up. Victor at my elbow. Now, he whispered. The email blast hit. Crew testimonies. Unredacted. Screens flickered. Gasps rippled. Elena faltered. Mic trembling. This is manipulated. Then Marcus. Live from Cook County, video link. Orange jumpsuit Stark. She's lying. All of it. Fiona. Tell them. Cameras swiveled. I stepped forward. Hood down. Face to the lens. He's right. But so am I. Words tumbled. Fire. Lies. The warehouse inferno. The room erupted. Factions forming. Snitch. From her camp. Hero. From the bereaved. Security closed in. I didn't run. Handcuffs clicked. Cool as closure. Victor vanished in the chaos. Loyal to the end, his end. Interrogation room. Stale coffee. Detective with tired eyes.
Why?
MS. Whitaker? You could have walked away.
Couldn't.
I met his gaze. Sins of the brother. He nodded. Almost pitying. Charges? Aiding and abetting. But the DA's cutting deals. Vasquez's are singing. Raoul flips on Elena. She on Marcus. Food chain. Bail hearing next day. Elena's lawyer's there. But subdued. She sat Rose back. Eyes hollow. The heiress unmasked. Our gazes locked. Hate? Respect? The blur of survivors. Judge banged gavel. Released. Pending cooperation. Outside. Rain lashed the steps. Mom's words echoed. No more ghosts. But ghosts don't die easy. Freedom tasted like wet concrete and cheap bail bondsman cologne. The kind that clings longer than regrets. I stepped out of the courthouse into a media mosh pit, mics thrusting like bayonets.
Question à barrage. Fiona.
Was it revenge or redemption? Did Elena deserve it? Marcus, family or felon? I pushed through. No comment. Hood up against the downpour. Hailing a cab to O'Hare. Milwaukee waited. But home felt like a myth now. A trailer park fable. The flight was turbulence all the way, mirroring the churn in my gut. Victor texted once. Clean exit. Call if you need extraction, then radio silence. Smart rat. Elena's silence was louder. Avoid promising payback. Marcus? A collect call from county. Fee.
We can fix this.
Brother-sister discount. I hung up. Discounts were his currency. Mine was truth. Bitter as it burned. Back in the apartment. Eviction notice taped to the door. Back rent. Courtesy of frozen accounts. I packed light, nursing scrubs, mom's locket, the USB as a talisman. Sold what I could on Craigslist, couch to a hipster, books to a used store, pocketing enough for a bus ticket west.
California.
Maybe. Fresh starts in the land of reinvention. But fate's a joker. At the Greyhound station, dawn breaking cold over the breweries. A figure waited on the bench. Elena, bundled in a trench. No makeup. Looking human for once. Going somewhere? I froze. Duffel slung over shoulder. You stalking now? Add it to the rap sheet. She stood. Hands in pockets. Empty. I hoped. No games. Truce talk. Truce. Laughter escaped. Jagged. After you torched my job. My life. Your life. Her voice cracked. City noise swallowing the edge. Marcus took mine, blackmail.
Lies.
You think I wanted that circus? Daddy's empire? It's ash because of him. And me. I stepped closer. Bus fumes acrid between us. I was the scapegoat. Always. She pulled a flash drive, twin to mine, from her coat. Then end it. Everything. Raoul's confessions. My complicity. Wipe it. We walk. I snatched it, slotting into my phone. Files mirrored. Her side of the ledger. Marcus's threats digitized.
Why?
Mercy. Survival. Her eyes.
Raw.
Feds offered a deal. Testify against Dad. I get probation.
But you.
You're the ghost. The one who could unravel it all over again. The bus horn blared. Final call. Passengers shuffled aboard. Dreams packed in overheads. What's the twist? Elena, you flip again. She hesitated, rain matting her hair.
No twist. Just. Choice.
Like you gave me at the loft. Gun in hand, Marcus down. I could have ended him. Chose not to. Memory flashed. Her fingers steady, my nails in his flesh. Mercy. Or calculation. And now.
Now.
I choose you. She held out her hand, bare. No ring. Partners? Or enemies forever? The drive weighed. Data dense as destiny. Delete. And we both breathe. Upload. And the dominoes fall anew. Her in stripes. Me in witness protection. Polarizing. Like Mom said, no heroes. Just humans clawing from the pit. Bus door hissed open. I boarded. Drive in pocket. Her hand ignored. See you around. Elena. The Greyhound pulled out. Milwaukee shrinking to specks, plants, spires, sins. I popped the drive into my laptop. Fingers hovering.
Delete or
Twist. Victor's email. Timestamped hours old. Not clean. Elena's playing long game. Dossier on you. Fire perjury. She's got the DA in pocket.
Run. Run.
The word propelled me. Seat reclined. Eyes on the horizon. California blurred into possibility. New name. New gig. Ghosts left east. But at the layover in Madison, another call, unknown. Fiona? It's Victor. Change of plans. Plans. Weariness laced my voice. Thought you ghosted. Never. Chuckle.
Oily.
Elena's deal fell through. Raoul lawyered up. Flipped the script. Blaming her for the fraud. She's desperate. Offered me double to take you out. Ice in my veins. Take me. Metaphorical. Frame job. your prints on the warehouse accelerants. But I countered.
Now.
We own her.
We.
You. The crew. Full circle. Meet in Reno neutral ground. Big payout. Reno. Sin City Light. Where bets double down. Temptation siren song. And if I say no, then she wins. You lose. The bus to Chicago idled. I stepped off, dialing a cab. Reno it is. The desert bloomed cruel under neon, casinos pulsing like fever dreams. The air dry as betrayal. Victor waited in a suite at the Nugget. View of the mountains mocking our smallness. Champagne chilled. Contracts crisp. To empires, he toasted. Flute raised. I clinked. Scanning the fine print. Shares in a consulting firm. Laundered clean. Elena's signature already there. Desperation in ink.
She's en route, he said.
Seal the triad. She arrived at midnight. Elegant in black. Eyes shadowed. Fiona.
No wodems.
Just wariness. This ends tonight. We sat, trio of vipers, dock shuffling like cards. Elena signed. Victor notarized.
Me last. Done, I said.
No flips. Her laugh was hollow. Fate of the betrayed. Dawn broke over the Sierras as we parted. Her jet east. Victor to vanishings. Me to a rental in Sparks. Nursing a coffee black as resolve. Months blurred. The firm thrived. Shadowy deals in data security, ironic. Us guarding secrets we once spilled. Elena faded to tabloid whispers. Raoul in appeals. Marcus paroled to a halfway in Gary. Peddling real estate to felons. I visited him once. Chain link between us. His face gaunt.
Fee.
Forgive. Forgiven.
Truth.
Partial. But not forgotten. Back west. The lake's ghost lingered. Huron's cousin. Tahoe's blue tees. Mom's locket swung as I hiked the trails. Breath sinking with pines. Justice? A scar. Not a salve. Twist landed in spring. Letter. Unmarked. Inside. The fire report, original. Stamped dismissed. Elena's hand. Note clipped. Your sin.
Absolved.
Mine too? Debated. I burned it. Ashes to wind. Absolved? Or armed anew? The world spun on, controversial. Unyielding.
Me?
Fiona Whitaker. No longer ghost. Just a woman. Walking the edge. Scales tipped but never balanced.
Who won?
You decide. Brother.
Bride.
Fixer. Or fool. In America's grand, gritty opera, no one's clean.
And